Hello guys, and welcome back to TSN, or the SASUKE Nerds. Today we have a whole party of guests here.
Yep.
Now, if you watched the most recent season of American Ninja Warrior, you would know who these people are. So, I guess, let's introduce them from, slowest to fastest on the stage 4 rope climb. I guess that's probably the best way about going about this.
Yeah, thanks for.
Yeah.
Oh, do I have this, Josh? Oh, I thought you were gonna do it. My bad. All right. Well, my name is RJ Roman. Am I passing it to someone else?
I'm Josiah from American Ninja Warrior.
And then obviously we got Jay and we got Kaden.
Don't even have to say anything. That's perfect.
All right. Let's begin. So this question is for everyone. What, was your experience at, the tower like? I guess that's a good place to start, right? If you guys have any order or something, yeah, you can go with that.
How about you? The order, so that we're not all like trying to answer at the same time.
Yeah, I guess we'll do it in time order. So, it would be RJ, Josiah.
RJ, it looks like you're going to be answering these questions first a lot.
All right. So the experience getting on stage 4 was phenomenal, right? That's the dream for every ninjas to climb up there. Of course, it was a little heartbreaking that I wasn't able to make it in the time limit. I'm sure it would have been a lot more awesome if I was able. Oh, still a dream come true. Super grateful for.
Yeah, for me, it was one of those things where, it's something you see nobody do, or at least hardly anybody do. And so the honor of getting there and with such a great group of people was really fun. And then to come up short, it was kind of heartbreaking for a second. And then, even just on my way down the tower, I kind of realized, it is just a TV show and that's not all that matters. And there's other things, going on that are more important.
Yeah, no, I think essentially the same sentiment as everyone else. Getting to stage 4 and getting to try the rope was a dream come true. It was really nice to kind of feel what it felt like. One, just the pressure and just everything, actually trying to put it all together on that day. Because I feel like a lot of you guys can probably relate on thinking about just dreaming about holding that rope, about to climb the tower and how you're gonna feel, and you always have all these expectations of what it's going to be like. And it was definitely a lot more adrenaline than even I could have prepared for. And it was definitely a super good time, but just a great experience.
Yeah, for sure. It's super cool, growing up watching the TV show and seeing only a couple people making it to stage 4, and then actually yourself making it there it still blows my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You made it there twice in a row. That would probably be an experience on its own, because there are not a lot of people internationally that have made it, to the tower twice in a row. Oh, we got Josh.
There he is.
Let's go.
Oh,
Sorry, we started a little bit early, but interview got crashed by Josh Levin.
looks like you're muted, Josh, unless that's just me.
It does look like that.
Correct. I am back. How's it going, everyone? Good to see everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Josh.
Bros, we're back. Good to see you.
Yeah, welcome back. For those who aren't in the know, there was a video on the old channel that was us interviewing him. But yeah,
Nice.
we were actually in the middle of a question and you came in.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, I just got back from picking my girlfriend up from the airport, so we're here. Excited.
Awesome. But no, the question is, what was your experience on, the final stage, the rope?
Wow. Yeah, jump in. Easy question first. Pretty standard. How was stage 4? It was a once in a lifetime experience. I would guess you got to hear from some others so far, but stage 4 is something that, as a fan of Ninja Warrior, you dream about. It's the final challenge of 4 stages of trying to achieve total victory and mastery over this course. And getting to, everyone here got to be able to hit that button on stage 3, realizing that the next thing after that is trying to tackle the most notorious and most challenging obstacle in the history of Ninja Warrior, which is stage 4. It's had many iterations over the course of the Japanese show, and of course on the American show, we've seen the rope climb. And all of us have put in hours and hours and hours and hours of training into trying to get better at trying to figure out how to do this kind of challenge. And for myself, what that ended up being is, from my first season on season 8, getting ready for my rookie year of American Ninja Warrior, going out to Colorado and training with the Wolfpack guys. So Kaden, I think, was still getting ready for Ninja Junior at that point. This was quite a few years ago, but the setup we had at the time was we did a huge crane setup. Kaden, did you ever get to try that one? The one in the crane company?
I actually bought that rope from Brian.
Oh, sick. Cool. Excellent. So you have the rope. Did you get to try it when it was on the crane?
Yeah, I did it with Jake a couple times.
Okay, perfect. Just making
cool
sure.
Feeling.
Yeah, that was sick. So that was my first introduction to being on a rope of that size. Actually, no, wait. I did that earlier there was a competition in Central California where we had a 100-foot rope, but that was my first time trying the 80-foot rope as a training obstacle with Wolfpack. So that was a really cool experience. Got to do it with Brian Arnold, Ian Dory, Noah Kaufman. Isaac was, I think, traveling at that point because he just won. So he's like, all right, cool, I'm peacing out. I'm going to go rock climb. So That was sick. And just getting the experience of that, exposure to it, getting ready, feeling good on it. And then, of course, getting to the final stage on season 14 with everyone here. It was really cool. So I don't know if you all talked about, but we actually kind of had a very informal mini meeting ahead of the climb. Did you guys talk about that at all?
No, I don't think
No. Yeah. To me, I think this was probably the most special of that experience. Other than being there and climbing it and doing it all together, but we actually had a meeting in the hotel before the stage 4 rope climb, just the 5 of us. Just to chat through hey, this is a once in a lifetime scenario. Anything can realistically happen. How y'all feeling about this? How do we want to present ourselves? And I think one of the things that really stands out for me in my mind about that conversation is actually RJ's comments. RJ was really talking about I think one of the things that we look forward to is going out there, putting on the best display of athleticism we possibly can, doing the best we possibly can, but really showing and demonstrating that we are all in this together. We are a community. The 5 of us are trying to help each other tackle this challenge. And I think that's something that I really stuck in my own mind about what my goals and aspirations were for this challenge. So going into the final stage, what happened on TV as far as the order was exactly what happened in real life. I went first, followed by RJ, and then Josiah, and then Jay, and then Kaden. And everyone just got closer and closer and closer to that 30-second mark. And unfortunately, no one is able to get under it this season, or season 14. But it was such a cool experience to be up there with the 5 of us all together, in my own experience, cheering each other on, seeing each other get closer and closer. And even though none of us were ultimately successful, having that experience together of being up there and really going for this with all of our heart and soul. So that was a great experience, something I'll never forget personally. And just such an incredible feeling of being alongside 4 incredibly talented, inspirational, strong gentlemen, such as, the ones here on the screen here. Moment I'll never forget.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Josh. You're awesome.
You're the man, Josh.
What a guy.
Yeah, obviously. How did you not tell me about this? This is great. But there is a bit of an elephant in the room, which our community has kind of speculated. Was there pull? And if you don't know what I mean, pull on the harness. Now, obviously,
for me,
yeah.
opposite.
Yeah, who wants to answer this one?
Yeah, obviously.
RJ, what was your experience? RJ, what was your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I had a ton of slack. I don't think that they do it on purpose or anything. Another thing that you can't really tell by looking at the rope is that it's really rough. You know, it's not a smooth rope. It's almost like Velcro in a sense. And if the belay line touches the rope, it's gonna stick to it like Velcro. So unfortunately, that's what happened to me. I don't know if it hurt me at all. Like, who knows if my climb would have been any better without that. But yeah, I don't think, as far as my own personal case, it's not like they tried to help or hurt anybody more than anything else, in my opinion.
I second that.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
The consensus I kind of got from what I watched was that the people who had won had got pole. Everyone who made it to the tower this season did not, and that's what I noticed, and maybe that was why.
We don't know if those people got pulled, though. And there's also the case of human error, you know. There's tons of things that can go wrong, which we never really saw before because there weren't 5 people on the rope at a time. Usually there was 2 at max. So you just didn't really... First of all, they didn't have as much of a chance to quote-unquote mess up or for the belay to stick to the rope or anything like that. Yeah, so again, I don't think that they're trying to force any results or anything.
It's just speculation, but I wanted to hear it from the people themselves because I know there were going to be people asking in the comments if
sure.
I were to skip on that. But
I think it's also like not to cut anybody off. Like, it's one of those things.
You should all go first. Go.
No, I think it's also one of those things that's hard because the moment is so quick. And so, like, for at least in my experience, I don't remember climbing the rope, period. So I don't remember if I felt pull. I can look at it back on the video and, you can take guesses looking at, what it looks like. I remember that when I climbed the rope, it felt really good for the first 60 feet, and the last 20 feet felt hard, but that's also what happens when you climb a lot of rope. Like, it gets harder near the top. So I don't think throwing that all on a belay line is fair at all. And it's a tough one because, that's one of those things that none of us are ever going to truly know, and you can't control. So you just got to, try to make with what you get, even though sometimes it gets obviously it can have some really annoying situations. And I think that there are definitely some things I hope they implement in the future to stop things like the rope getting tangled up. Just adding another line to keep you from twisting around the rope. I know other countries have that. But yeah, hopefully they can get that done. But I think I agree with the sentiment of RJ where I don't think they're intentionally doing anything to, hinder or affect the results.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That takes us into our next question. This one's for Jay and RJ because, this applies to the both of you. What was your experience in Ninja Warrior Germany, the nation special? I mean, I saw the extreme final stage, spider climb, super salmon ladder, rope. That was crazy.
Yeah, Jay, you go first. I'll let you take this one first.
Perfect. Yeah, no, it was like an incredible experience. I actually only got selected for it a week beforehand. So another ninja who was going to be on the special, I believe they had an issue with their passport or something. I think they took the picture themselves and there were too many shadows in the background, so their passport got denied. And Barclay Stockett, who was one of the people on Team USA, was already out in Germany because she tests for ATS. And she invited me out and asked if I, could go out to Germany the next week. And I'd never left the country before. So the only reason that I had my passport is because the week that Ninja Warrior Germany was filming was the week that my family was going to go on vacation to Canada. So I had got my passport maybe like a month before, but before that I didn't have one. Like I only got it, for that trip. And luckily we were able to reschedule that. Went out to Germany. I know RJ was out there a lot longer than me. I was only out there for like less than 3 days. I think I flew out there, probably got in at like 4 or 5 p.m. Then we did B-roll the next day and then competed. And then I went straight from set to the hotel to pack and then straight to the airport. But actually competing was a dream come true. The courses out there, all the obstacles felt really good. It's getting on show obstacles is always a good time. And especially getting to stage 4 was just, unreal. That stage 4 format is crazy. It's super fun. I didn't know that they were going to have it out there. I wasn't really training specifically for this since I only got invited out a week beforehand. So it was all just super surreal and really great time.
Oh yeah, it was incredible. It was also my first time out of the country, and I couldn't ask for a better experience. I did spend a little bit more time after the competition. I made some pretty good friends with some of the athletes out there. They're all super kind and even opened up their house to me for like a week and just showed me around the entire country. So I live in Florida, flat, up there they took us to like all the castles, which are hundreds of feet above the air, above the ground. There was a bridge that we walked on, again, hundreds of feet just above forest, so it was a complete change in scenery. And again, all the people there were really nice and really kind and showed me a great. It was awesome. The competition itself, like actually getting to run the courses was awesome too, of course. It is the same company that makes the obstacles for the USA, so it was almost like the way that they format their courses was like if you just had a gym full of ATS obstacles and you just like you get to put any combination of obstacles that you want. Really cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but in the community, Ninja Warrior Germany is known as like the best show, like internationally.
Oh, they got the best pyro, that's for sure.
Oh, it's crazy.
Cayne.
They got good snacks too. They had really nice soft pretzels.
I didn't know that fact. I guess let's move on to a simple one, I guess. This one's for Kaden, but what did you do with the $200,000? What does a 16-year-old do with that much money, That's what I'm kind of thinking.
So I donated some of it to breast cancer research. My mom had breast cancer, and actually my best friend's mom also had breast cancer. So that's something that's pretty close to our hearts. And also invested quite a bit into my business, Bucket of Chalk, just trying to help that grow.
That's nice.
Didn't you also buy a Jeep?
I actually bought the Jeep a year before I went on Ninja Warrior, but they wanted that to be, I don't know. Yeah, I had that a year before I've been on any Ninja Warrior course, so.
Nice.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned that because I remember a year or two back, a year or two back, I was at Ninja Quest back when that was still a thing, and Ryan Stratus was there. He said he bought a Jeep with the Mega Wall money, which is kind of funny to think about. But yeah, that's just a quick one.
Sponsor, man. When they sponsored like season 11, now every ninja wants a Jeep.
Jeep Run, how could I ever forget? Now just legally distinct Jeep Run. All right, I guess we'll move into a question. This is for everyone, actually. Sorry if I have been leaving anyone out. So, this is a bit of a simple one. What is the hardest course you have ever set foot on? I think we're going to get varied answers. So we didn't establish this order with Josh. It's slowest to fastest on the rope climb. So you would go first, Josh, then RJ, then so on.
Sounds good. Hardest course I've ever been on. I'll interpret this in the show sense, although I'm sure people will throw out like Bucket of Chalk stuff and maybe even UNX or NSC, like courses that I've never even like thought of or even touched. But I'll go with short course. That's my interpretation of this question. I'm going to have to say American Ninja Warrior Season 8, Stage 3. This course was not one that I made to the regular season. It was my rookie year. I fell on stage 2, which I had done every year since then until season 14. And this course was stacked, for lack of a better word. So the time when I got on it was actually during the USA versus World Special that year. And we did get the opportunity to practice some of the obstacles ahead of time. That point in time, I actually tried a couple of them, including the latter half, and like failed them multiple times before I actually succeeded on like second or third try. I forget exactly what the rules were for amount of practice obstacles you got to do, but it was like 1 or 2, or even like 15 minutes tops per section or something like that. But it was hard. And that was actually where I learned to do mixed grip for the first time ever in my like ninja career, like while I was practicing stage 3 for USA versus World, which was like pretty wild experience. But the combination of obstacles, starting with the like key lock, to then floating boards, to then like hardest version of cliffhanger stage 3 has had so far, with like offset boards and like 3 transfers, into body prop, into hang climb, into walking bar, into flying bar. That one was really, really difficult. And for me, that one was, I think, the course I felt like the most accomplished in doing once I actually had those failures in the practice round and then was able to do it during actual competition. But for me, that one was like the hardest one that I had tried.
Yeah, for me, it's a little embarrassing because stage 3 was probably the hardest course that I can remember clearing and feeling the most pumped, or I guess in a pump sense. Obviously, like, I had to skip that last flying bar move because I truly felt that if I tried it, I would have peeled off. And then going and talking to these 4 fools afterwards, asking them if they were as pumped as I was, and they're like, "Nah, it was nothing." So that's probably the most pumped I've ever been, but finished a course. So I'll pick that one as the hardest course that I've ever done.
I'll also just go with show courses since we all seem to be doing that. I'd say it was probably the season 14 semifinals course. So like the 10 obstacle, I think like out of all the courses, that's the hardest one, is semifinals. But yeah, that was like the most tired I was, especially like I knew Jay's time because you had run like right before me. And so I was like pushing to try and get the fastest time as well. And just like pushing through the spider trap. Oh, my legs were like on fire. I was like, I probably made it to Vegas. Do I really have to actually clear this? Like I could just drop now. And then in my head, I was like, wait, no, I got to like actually push for this. But yeah, I'd say that was probably the hardest course that I've done.
I mean, hey, we got the that power tower match out of that. That was probably the best power tower match ever.
Yeah, no, that was pretty close.
It was a good one for sure. I think I guess I'm next. So I think the same sentiment as Josiah. The semifinals course from season 14 was definitely, I think, technically one of the hardest courses that I've done, just because a lot of the moves, while not necessarily like super physically difficult, some of them were, but a lot of the obstacles were just kind of like, you make one mistake and you're done. You know, like Air Surfer is one where, like, you know, you go a little bit too far with one side of the board, there's no saving it, you know, you're done. Same sort of thing on Dragonback. They had the new obstacle Ghost Town, which was the same sort of deal as well. So there was a lot of these obstacles where, like, you make one little mistake and you're done. And then also at the point that I'd ran in the night, nobody had made it past Ghost Town. I think only one person had beaten Kaleidoscope at that point. Like, everyone was going down pretty early. And both people in the demo, like for our rules, actually failed Ghost Town. And then I think Cal Plahoros was the only other person to go before me that got there, and he like fell out of the cradle. So I was terrified of, like, you know, getting too much swing and just falling right out of it. So I like got essentially no swing and just underbarred it. But yeah, I'd say either that course or, you know, ANW 14 stage 2, wasn't maybe as technically challenging, as there wasn't too much technical stuff. But I think physically, just the power endurance of that course is the most of any of the courses. And while I, you know, feel comfortable with that, I feel like it fits in my wheelhouse. I think it's definitely one of the one of the physically hardest courses. And I thought the season 14 one was super cool, and I really liked it. And there were definitely some obstacles in there. I think the hardest individual obstacles I've done were on that stage too, with like honeycombs and stuff like that. So that's kind of my pick. But yeah, lots of fun courses.
Yeah, all of those sound hard. I think the hardest one for me was season 13, stage 3, just because I had never done eyeglass before. So I ended up doing way too many pull-ups to get through one obstacle. So I was definitely pumped after that one. And both of the semifinals courses I've ran, spider trap is probably like the single hardest obstacle for me. Every time I've done that, like finished that obstacle, I've been sore the next day.
Yeah, 50-pound doors is no joke. It looks easy on TV, but you have to actually do the obstacle before you make that judgment. I mean, what? The general audience is like, oh, I could do that, and then they do it, and, you know, it's way harder than it looks on TV. The warped wall, stuff like that. But no, I totally see what you're talking about. Next up in our question list, this one is for Josiah. Yeah, we've had some pretty big opportunities, you know, involving Ninja in competitions. So how has the show kind of affected your platform?
I'd say it's been like overall a very positive experience. Obviously, there's been times on there like season 13 falling stage 2, season 14 failing stage 4, where it's felt like really hard to come back from. But overall, it's been such a positive experience. I've met so many great people and just had kind of like a motivation to further my skill and further the friendships within the community because of it. And like, again, I've just met so many people and lifelong friends from it that it's been just an incredible experience.
Yeah, obviously. Ninja as a whole is like a very positive sport. There's a lot of camaraderie, I guess you could say, between people. And that's always something nice to see, obviously. Someone from Japan who competed, you know, on SASUKE has said a very similar sentiment.
Yeah, I think just in general, like Ninja isn't like any other sport. I think in many other sports, everybody like wants to win for themselves and like wants everybody else to do bad so they can win. And Ninja just isn't like that. Like everybody's out there wanting the best for everyone else and wanting everyone to do just as well, if not better than they've even done themselves.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, that takes us to our next question. This one is for Josh. This is an individual question for you. What has stuff been like after your retirement from Ninja?
It's been great. Yeah. I've really enjoyed Ninja retirement so far. I think that athletically for myself, the kind of journey that I've gone on from rock climbing and pursuing that as much as I possibly could to then starting doing Ninja Warrior 7 years ago now on the show, and then going through different cycles of going through like rock climbing competitions, Ninja competitions. We had COVID in there, and then doing one more season of the show. For me, what I was searching for in each of those areas, whether that's rock climbing, Ninja, or even beyond that, is a sense of mastery. That's like the ultimate goal for me for whatever like challenge physically that I try and enter, or even outside of that professionally, intellectually, etc. And searching for mastery, it takes you to so many cool places. Obviously, getting to share this experience with all these 4 dudes out here and being able to be on stage 4 like that for me was part of that journey. But I think for me, the big one that really stuck out in my mind from competing in previous seasons was failing stage 2. That was the one thing that I felt that I had overcome so many other obstacles on American Ninja Warrior, and stage 2 is the one monkey in my back, so to speak, of this course that like I tried season 8, failed, season 9, failed, season 10, failed. I actually came back and tested season 11, failed, tested season 13, failed again. I went to Indonesia and did Ninja Warrior there when we had the nation special over in that in 2017, and failed stage 2 there. So it was like so many failures on this one particular stage, not like a particular obstacle or anything, but like a specific stage. And to know that like this was something that if I were to not come back from Ninja Warrior, because I competed seasons 8, 9, and 10, didn't compete 11, 12, or 13, and to like make that choice to come back 14, that was for one goal and one goal only, and that was beating stage 2. Like that was the one thing I really wanted to do. And the cool part about that was actually to go there and know that was my main goal. I actually trained specifically with like a lot of people on this call. Like I went and trained with Jay in Connecticut and Kaden in Colorado. And after that, got to train with RJ and Josiah in Florida and New York. But in order to beat something that for me was beyond my capabilities, I knew I needed to find people who were better than me at stage 2 and train with them and find out like what's the secret for them. I think the big one was actually training with Joe Moravsky, because he's beaten stage 2 more times than like most people. I don't know if it's a record. You can do some fact checking on that. But just having his wisdom and guidance and support through that process was a huge deal for me. And once I finally got to be on there and knowing gone through the training and actually go through stage 1 with a little more risk intentionality, the whole Josh 2.0 idea, and taking more risks as opposed to like competing for safety, just competing and like going for it and taking those big risks, especially at stage 1. Once I hit that buzzer in stage 2, that was like such a huge relief. And knowing that I could then go and have fun, stage 3, stage 4, whatever happened, was a huge weight off my back. Knowing after that I had done what I wanted to do, achieve mastery in whatever way I defined it, beating stage 2, allowed me the satisfaction and sense of calm to know that like I can feel free to choose my own path after this. And what that's meant for me has been figuring out what I'm going to do professionally. I'm now working full time. I have summers off, so I'm getting to travel a bunch. Right now I'm actually in South Africa doing some outdoor rock climbing. And kind of being able to choose where and when I want to like focus in my energy in like a physical challenge sense has been wonderful. And at the same time, being able to like support everyone, see everyone do so well on the show, doing other athletic things, doing other professional or entrepreneurial things has been incredible. But to know that like for me, I was able to achieve mastery in my own sense, and I can go forward and live my life in whatever way I choose.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, fact-checking wise on Joe Moravsky, yeah, he's obviously the most in America. But obviously Japan has been going on longer, so, you know, there's that. But in America, yes, he is, I'm pretty sure, the most stage 3s. But yeah, we have 2 questions left. One's an individual, one is an everyone question. This one's for RJ. I don't know if this is too much of a personal matter. I don't think it is, but there was a post about you going on to pursue bigger things. Does that mean the gym, like you're leaving the gym, or the sport of ninja as a whole?
Yeah, that is something that's going on in my personal life, where I am leaving my current gym, Obstacle Ninja Academy, which I've been at for 5 years. But I'm still going to stay involved with ninja stuff. I am going to be working at a different ninja gym. But I just want it to be clear that I'm not leaving Obstacle Ninja Academy because I don't like the gym or the people here. I just have bigger opportunities, not just in the ninja world, but with some other things as well, where I was being a little bit held back, so to speak, here in Orlando, at least. Yeah, but I'm gonna still be involved with the ninja world, probably more than ever after this.
Awesome. Pursue bigger things is just a very vague statement, so that's why I kind of asked, and people were curious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have some more like music opportunities, as well as public image, I guess, opportunities. And I guess going out on stage 4, not being able to climb that rope, I am trying to find better places to better prepare myself for it, so I don't do it again, so I don't time out on it again. Here in Orlando, I'm going to sidetrack a little bit. We have a rope here that the company or the park that has it set up has been telling us that it's 60 feet. And then we went and measured it, and it was only 50 feet. So it just wasn't enough to prepare me for stage 4. So now I'm going to find somewhere else that will prepare me for stage 4.
Awesome. Yeah. Good to not do a 50-foot rope, because a 50-foot rope is actually the final stage that was in Japan in the 90s. So
yeah, there's a mental factor too. You know, like I was climbing that one in however long, like my fastest time was like 15 seconds. And if it was 60 feet and I was like, oh, I can do another 20 feet in another 15 seconds, that's no big deal. But it's absolutely not the case. You almost got to climb it twice within 30 seconds in order for it to be somewhat similar to stage 4.
yeah.
So my training not as good as I thought it was, is the point I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, that's something I kind of noticed with a lot of the final stage runs. They would rocket up about, 50 feet, and then slow down. You know, that's something I kind of noticed.
Yeah, which, again, like from my own personal experience, I built up the endurance to make it to that spot, but never did. Well, I mean, I've done it a couple times, but I've never done, for that pace for the whole 80 feet. Yeah, so my body was only prepared to go that far, and it kind of died after that.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to our final question. This is for everyone in the call. So, this doesn't have to apply to present tense, obviously, because one of us is not active in the sport of ninja, but... Sorry. But were there any goals in the sport of ninja that you've had outside of, win the big show, win A&W, that, you've had?
Yeah, other than achieve total victory, I think the big goal for me was stage 2. That was huge barrier for me for so many years, and to finally be able to break through that and have that moment of achieving mastery, and however you define it. I think that's something that most athletes search for, and I think something like Ninja Warrior, again, is not defined by who's the best. It's defined by how you overcome obstacles in your life, whatever that means to you. That can be on the course, off the course, somewhere in between, however you define it. I think being able to find obstacles that are challenging to you, not something that's easy to you, something that's challenging, and overcome those. That's the big thing. So beating stage 2 for me was the big physical challenge. And then I would say goal as far as off the course, but using the platform in Ninja Warrior, would be going back all the way from my first season, sharing the story of my first ever climbing coach, Stacy. She's the one who received double lung transplant in 2004. Unfortunately passed away in 2018 during season 10. But at that point in time, it was important for me to share her story to advocate for people to register as organ donors across the country. So the two big goals for me were to, one, achieve mastery, however I define that. And for me, that meant beating stage 2. That was a huge success for me. And the second goal is being able to share a really powerful story. And every single person on this call has an absolutely incredible story that they're connected to and is shared throughout the course of their ninja careers. And I have so much respect for. And the story for me that meant the most, and Ninja Warrior actually did a very good job of highlighting that, was my relationship with my first coach, Stacy, who underwent double lung transplant, and be able to show that on TV as someone who's received a transplant to advocate for more people registering as organ donors was a huge goal that I'm really glad to have seen through on American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, obviously it's a TV show, so obviously stories are very important. But yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that about your loss, obviously.
That was a great, Josh. That was incredible. For me, one of my biggest goals when I first started getting into Ninja Warrior, when I first started training before I'd competing on the show, one thing I really wanted to get out of my first season was, of course, I just wanted to make a name for myself, but not just, to be a popular guy on TV, but what I really wanted to get out of it was that I wanted to be able to kind of get a job out of like anywhere in the country. And I was really passionate about sharing my knowledge of movement and completing obstacles, and techniques and all of that. So I kind of wanted to do that as a job, because I wasn't doing that before my first season. And it I think it's safe to say that it worked for me, and I get offers from all over the country and even all over the world. After I made that post that you were just talking about, I got some offers out in Hong Kong and other countries as well. So it's really cool to know that I have like a safe, I guess I'll call it, fallback plan. I don't know if I would really consider it that, but I have options of where I want to go and an income source almost anywhere that I want to go.
Yeah, that's always the dream. Be like, I guess, maybe a professional athlete. I don't know if that's how I'd word it, but I guess professional athlete, professional ninja, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and it's something that I love doing, so I get to do what I love almost anywhere I want.
It's like a dream job.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my goal kind of going into Ninja Warrior, aside from achieving total victory, which would be cool too.
Yeah, I think kind of my goal from the beginning, other than obviously total victory, which I think is all of our goals, was just to do the best for myself and push myself to my limit, no matter where that was. Just kind of get out there and do what I can do the best. And so I think after making it to stage 4 and having like a perfect season up until then, I was like, okay, I've kind of pushed myself. Other than total victory, there's nowhere to push myself on the show. And so kind of I switched my focus to really inspiring other people to push themselves and inspiring other people to get out there. And after failing stage 4, kind of coming back from that, using that story to be like, look, just because you fail something or just because you come up short doesn't mean that has to be the end. That can be the beginning, and that can be what motivates you to kind of push yourself further and get back up and try again.
Yeah. You can see where you're coming from, obviously, seeing as I was at, WNL Worlds Tier 2, took big defeat, and trying to turn it into energy for, next season in Tier 2. Hopefully take home the gold, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I think for me, anytime I have a failure in Ninja or in life, I analyze that and I look at it and I kind of tell myself, how can I make myself a better person out of this?
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it.
All right, so kind of similar to what everyone's saying, obviously, aside from, total victory, I think something that I've been focusing on in Ninja recently is just kind of trying to get myself to go for moves, more confidently and run more confidently. With so many leagues outside the show, you get a lot of chances to compete throughout the entire year. And I found a lot of times, even if I'd be getting good results, I wouldn't be able to look back and feel like I was proud of my run, like in the sense of maybe doing like 100% of my capabilities on it. It's like I'd take extra moves here and there, and that's always going to happen. And that's something that kind of, I know is always going to be there. But I think slowly trying to work through that and get to the point where I can kind of start sending moves that are maybe a little bit riskier in those higher pressure situations would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what everyone else is saying. Ninja's super cool because, like, you never really stop growing. Like, I just keep surprising myself on, like, how far I can push myself. Like, back in season 13, my goal was just to clear qualifying, and then I just kept clearing, and now look. So it's just super cool to see, like, how far you can really push yourself, and there's really no limit in Ninja.
Yeah, obviously. That's always been the good thing about Ninja as a whole. The skill ceiling, there's no big limit, obviously. I mean, someone probably thought like a 15-foot lache was probably the most possible, and then someone went out and did, more, etc. It's kind of what I'm trying to get at. But, that brings us to the end of this interview. Before we sign off, is there anyone you guys want to shout out? Or anything, I guess. Whatever.
Want to shout out these?
I would like...
I was just going to say that.
Today. That's all.
Who's going?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you
crew.
for having us, Cayne.
Yeah, thank you.
And SASUKE nerds, appreciate you guys.
Yep. Getting the gang back together.
Yeah, of course. This has been a video I've wanted to do for months. This has been months in the working, and at first it was just gonna be like 3 of the 5, and then it became 4 of the 5, and then when we got Kaden involved, it became all 5, and it basically it's like a dream come true. And what I was planning video wise.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I was able to contribute to that.
Yeah.
Oh, super fun.
I'll shout out one more thing, and that's all you bros. I think one of the cool things is that as we all cleared stage 3, the night that we were filming, we made a little Instagram group just called Stage 4 Bros. Like that's the name of our group. And it since evolved, and we got to do some cool stuff. We made like a joint social media post, which was super cool to like kind of have this cohesive message that we spread out, like overcoming obstacles, and you can't make history alone. Like we all did it together. And I think for me, Stage 4 Bros it's like funny and hilarious, kind of like an inside joke meme sort of thing. But like at the same time, I consider each of you my brothers. Like we all did this together. It's something we all got to experience, and it's one of the most special moments for me in my entire life. Getting to like sneak back up and hike up the stairs at the end of the night after like everything had wrapped, and like take the selfie on the top of the tower. Like that was just so freaking sick. And like each of you coming from, we all come from different parts of the country, but we're united towards the same goal of achieving mastery. And for like myself, for one, feel that I'm bonded and indebted to each of you for being there for me. And whenever we all were trying the tower, we were all there cheering each other on. So bros for life, Stage 4 Bros for life.
I would agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch, especially because, yeah, as you said, yeah, obviously you come from all different walks of life, and there was also the big thing about how there were the OGs and then there were the teen competitors, so it really, you had someone to root for during that episode, basically, at, the end, which is nice. But, yeah, I think that puts us right at the end of the video. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next video. See ya.